Good morning and welcome to OG Foundation, capital of the sovereign state of Lodium. I am your host, Sovereign Non of Lodium, and this is episode 20 of season 12 here at OG Foundation, which is the capital of Lodium. I'm standing on top of the Molly Stark Tower here. Molly Stark is the creator. Her real name is her original name was Elizabeth Page. She married John Stark, and Molly, along with Betsy and Betty, he had lots of nicknames for her. She might not have even really liked him that much, but she's the one who made this flag here. And then John Stark flew that flag as the general of the sovereign people of New Hampshire, in defense of the sovereign people of Vermont and against the imperial aggressors and occupiers of the crown. Anyways, so I'm going to turn this around. So this week, I am insulating the top of the Molly Stark Tower. So there's a central chimney, and the whole idea is that there will be an upward draft around the exposed chimney column on the inside, which will bring the hot air right up to this dome here. So at the very least, I need to insulate the dome all around the chimney so that the heating effect can have its utility performed. And so I have begun insulating the dome up here. You can see on edge there, these panels are a foot thick, and then there's in some areas like a foot of insulation underneath the panels so far, but I'm getting to a narrower part, so the area over here won't have quite as much insulation. But once I'm all done, hopefully by the end of this episode, this whole area where I'm standing will have a flat deck, which will intersect that chimney several inches below the flashing there, and it'll all just kind of drain going that direction. Or, yeah, it'll have to drain also. There's not going to be a drain up here, it's just going to kind of flow over the edge for but there's sub-drains, so if there's any leakages, the leaks can drain. There's 3 drains in the sub-drain, but the top level is just gonna be like sloped to go that way. So that is the agenda for this week, doing all these insulation things, using all of these recycled insulation materials. I have the panels, I have these scraps, like kind of like trapezoidal cuts off of panels. There's like 3 more bags of those. I don't think I'll use probably more than this one. And then I have loose kind of like pellets of it, and I think I have another really big bag of those as well, which is just like scrap from this insulation panel production process, and they are getting recycled here. And so the first step for the projects is basically I'm gonna continue these panels along here and then along that edge and do all the areas where I can get the thick panels in first. And then once I get to the part of the dome where it's higher and there's not enough room for a thick panel, then I'll start piecing together the thinner panels. But I'll probably start over there and work my way that way. We got some more scrap down for the next panel. I gotta get it down before the wind gets it. Next panel is all prepped and the spot for it as well. This is my ginormal bag of waste from the insulation place. It's got some other trash in it, but it's pretty much all styrofoam, so I went through that one bag, so I'm transferring it from this ginormal bag here to a regular size trash bag. I'll bring that up and use at least one more bag up there on that section, and then tie this up for storage for later. So by Friday evening, I've got more panels on, and after I break for an egg feast, I'm gonna see if I can get another piece of remesh down on here, prep it, and get one batch of mortar done for today. We'll see how it goes. Alright, so I got the second piece of remesh prepped. It's got 6 inches up along the edge. It has one little funky bend around that corner to stay in contact with the edge. It has a couple ties into the other piece of remesh, and then it just has things kind of sitting on it. That block is kind of pushing it up against the side and ready for a batch of mortar on that. So 2 of the buckets, maybe a little over 2, got on the new piece of remesh, and then one of the buckets got on the other piece of remesh to give it a second coat. And then I put the last bucket on the foundations. But now there's complete coverage on the area of the first piece of remesh. And I'm getting that corner in. And tomorrow I'll take those pieces out and run this corner. I'm onto the 6-inch panel here. You can see there's a 6-inch panel and it's not even parts of it where the dome is highest. The particle board, the lower particle board is cut off. I save all the little scraps of spray foam and all of it goes into the insulation. I wrapped the chimney with, I thought this was rock wool. It might just be fiberglass insulation, I don't know, but regardless, it should be better than the polystyrene or whatever it is, the white stuff, up against the chimney. And that's not foamed in yet, but that's a good start. I think I only have 3 more pieces of remesh. So one will probably go on this wall, one will go on that wall, and one will go there, and we'll see if I can finish it up with just the 3 and then pieces of lath. And I kind of expected it to go faster, but I'm still satisfied with how much did get done today. And it's supposed to rain tomorrow, so who knows if I'll be able to get more done. You gonna come with me, Wasabi, to come get the boys? You coming this way? Come on, you can follow. You alright? Yeah, alright, Wasabi. I'm coming, boys. You coming, Wasabi? Oh, she's coming. Oh, you good girl. Our first time outside the courtyard. Coming, boys. Should we have a fire? I don't know about today. It's pretty windy. Pretty soon, though, we'll have a fire. Come on, Wasabi. Good chickie. Good, Wasabi. Come on, I'll sit down over here, yo. What's it right here? This is a good spot. Good spot for you boys. You can go get some grazing. When I came out here, it was foggy and still, so I raised the Super Stark to, I think it's 90% of the mast. So I raised it 2 full sections, and it was dead for a while, but now it's picking up the wind coming out of the north wind. Saturday afternoon, and it is a rainy day. I got rain barrels up underneath both of the spouts from the new features. That one gets a lot more than this one. And my dirt pile here is all covered from the rain. So rainy day is actually a good time for me to do tires. So what I've done so far is I've cut into the bank for the first tire there. And I've just about got it full. I just have to pound it and then stomp it so that it's as solid as I can get the dirt in there. And then I will add a second tire stepping up, going that direction, roughly where the pickaxe is. And I'll be digging out where the spade is in between these two to go into the tire wall. And then the idea is that the tire wall will go that way. But I only hired myself for 1 tire and paid myself the wage of 3 spliffs. And I haven't even finished the 1 spliff, and I'm almost done with 1 tire, so I might just do more than 1 tire. We'll see how it goes. Tire number 2 is screwed to tire number 1 and is prepped with rocks, especially extra big rock down near the corner where there can be erosion, so that all the material stays in there, even if I dig out some of the dirt from underneath. And ready for more dirt. Tire number 3 steps up once again and is screwed and prepped and ready for dirt. Tire number 4 all prepped for dirt. Stepping up, each one stepping up. 4 tires for today. That's all the tire pounding I'm going to do. I might do a little concrete kind of half tire on the bottom one after some food. We'll see. Oh no, a chicken died. I don't know what the heck happened. Maybe it got stuck, or I don't know what happened. This appears to be an area where there must have been some beef remains buried. And then it looks like some, probably coyotes or their dogs came out here and dug it up, and that's my guess. So I'm leaving the dead chicken out here. It's as good a place as any where there's predatory activity, and there's someone who's probably going to appreciate the meat available from the chicken more than anyone else. So yeah, rest in peace, Nightshade. No, it's Nighthawk. Nightshade's still alive. Nighthawk. Because of the rainy day, the boys stayed in the Citadel while I did all the tire work, and now they're making up for it by snacking on the boxwood elder and cleaning up the battlements. Hedging. The good hedgers. I just got the last peach of the season. Sunday morning, and I'm starting on this side for some reason. I think because I want to get this piece of remesh on that corner, and just because I had these two thick pieces of insulation up here, and that's where it can go. So I got the one piece in, and I've custom cut this one in a very complex way, and I'm gonna see about getting that one in now after I've refilled my polystyrene pebble bag from the big bag. So I got that one there, that big triangle, and right now I'm doing this custom cut to get in that back corner. So that one has some is foamed in, and you can see what I've got left. The last part is the most difficult, but I'm gonna get onto that after a little break. For the narrowest part there, I have some pieces of the insulation without the OSB on it, so that should work the right width for that kind of square right there. So I'm filling in the last of the gaps for the insulation up here, and then I'll take a good bit of prep before I can do any mortar, but or even before I lay down the metal. I've got to get everything all foamed, and then after it's foamed, I've got to let it cure and then cut the foam, and in the process try to put as much of the waste foam back into the project. So this is one of the last big pieces. I now have all of the cracks foamed and all of the holes filled. I'll just have to do, it's the end of the day, sun's going down, just about over the treetop here. There's a nice big maple here, and the nice big maple right there. So yeah, I just did some more foam, drilled a couple places where the panels are too close to be able to get foam in there, so there's no like cracks for the heat to rise up from the dome and lose it. So get it as tight as possible. So tomorrow I'll come back and cut the foam and then prep, and then I can prep the metal. But good to complete the whole insulation part for today, and I think I got the level all right, but won't really see for sure until later on. Monday morning, and just got to cut this foam flat, and then I'll be ready to put the remesh down. Shout out to Craig, immortalized, just barely. Love Craig. Leave the line, just barely. So it's Monday afternoon, and I have finished the metal prep, and about to start with mortar. There's remesh tying into, at least some remesh tying into all the walls, or lath. It probably would have been better to get more into those walls, but it's all good. I was working with what I have. So onto mortar. This is after 3 buckets of one batch. So I got one more bucket of the first batch, and then I'll make a second bucket. I'm doing lots of fiberglass, heavy fiberglass in this. Because of the sparse kind of spacing of the remesh, the fiberglass will help the mortar to not break when there's pressure in the middle of those squares or whatever. So one more bucket and then one more batch. After 2 batches, it's got coverage on just about all of it. Some of it is pretty thin, like in the top right corner. That was the last stuff I did, and it was running a bit thin by then. But it's really good. I'll just have to water it, and then we'll see how it sheds water. I still don't know. I know it's a little bit high right there, and it's generally should be high on that side, and should shed. If it sheds just like this properly, then that's excellent, because then I don't have to add any excess weight. Though I will need at least one more coat on all of this, if not more, and to work the sides in. Some of the areas I was able to work the sides in, like the lath, and over there's a corner of remesh that was worked in really well. But that's all for today. Tuesday morning, I just got one more batch of mortar on it, nice and wet, with a good bit of fiberglass. So that helps to smooth out the rough parts. I'll just have to water it throughout the day because it's a sunny one. And got a little bit more of the edges kind of mortared in, especially on this side, but there's a good bit left to do. But that's probably all for up here for today. You can see I've got like the PVC like pinning some remesh over there, and I've got different things kind of like pushing lath and pushing remesh into try to get it as close to the existing structure as possible, so when I rock it together, it'll all be one integral structure. Hey Katie, look at you. You're so tall and beautiful. You coming over here? So over here where I had done some tires, I'm making a little form on top of the first tire to make it so that I can put a tire on the third course out full tire over there. Hey girl, you're so smart. And so I like stapled that, and I screwed one side. I got to screw the left side, and then I'll mix up some concrete and pour it in there. I poured a good bit of water on it, and this is kind of the front where it's accumulating right now underneath the crowbar and coming my way. I'm gonna go get some more water. I sprayed it earlier. Now it's hard enough where I can just throw like a whole bucket full of water on it and see where the water pools and stuff to see if I need to touch up anything right now. So it does pool in a couple areas, but that's all right. It's probably just about a ½ inch to an inch. So when I come through with the next batch, I'll know where to raise it so that it drains right in that valley right there. So I just watered it again, and I'm gonna go do a little rock wall around the tires. So now that this form is all filled, the next steps on this tire wall here, there's a tire to go up top, and then tomorrow, once that concrete cures, there's a tire to go right there, and then at some point cutting in along the side there and putting a rock wool up along the dirt face and also reinforcing the tires. I was going to do that right now, but then I realized that the rocks available currently are going to be necessary for the next 2 tires to prep them. So the next step available is on this part is only the top tire, and I'm not excited about doing that, so I'll procrastinate and see what else I could possibly do, and if I can't find anything else, I'll go do that top tire. So I've done a 5th tire that the bucket is on, and set a 6th tire, and then cut into the hillside there and use the excess stone that I had to build a little rock wall. And now I'm going to use the last little bit of Portland that I have left over after doing the concrete thing. It's like maybe a quarter of a half of a bag, so like an eighth of a bag, and make a little bit of mortar and put it on that little sidewall there. So it was a really small batch of mortar, and it's not as aesthetically pleasing anymore, but the point is the utility. All of those rocks that I mined out of the ground and through my labor separated them from the background dirt, then get claimed as property, and then they're all united together in other property that I purchased, the mortar, into one solid rock that is mine. The dirt is enclosed by tires, which are mine, and so all the dirt, I can't claim the land as property. The land enclosed by the tires, impounded in the tires is my property, and who else has a right to the dirt within the tires that I've pounded and stacked than me? So this all just kind of gets back into the idea of rights relative to property and relative to land, but I won't get into all that. But I'm all done for work for today, so just have to water the mortar up there one more time before I go to sleep. Getting that thing on. The fire's slow to start because the branches are all pretty green. I've gone through half of my burnables. Hopefully I can get it going. Alright, that's the last of the burnables. I think there's a pretty good chance of sustained reaction. The boy's been wrestling. Fire's almost done. Uh-oh, it's about to eat my hair again. Wednesday morning, and I just came up here to prep for another batch of mortar and to wet it down. But the water from last night is still here in this big old puddle right there. So that means I don't have to wet it, and that's where a good bit of this next batch will go. I know it's high on the back side, and so once I add an inch or so to where that puddle is, then it should start coming off the front, and then I'll just keep tying in the remesh and lath. Unfortunately, this one here, I accidentally kicked it when I got up yesterday, so I wrecked all of the mortar that was on top of this and tying it in. So I'll have to redo that and try to figure out, I'll probably use this cinder block, try to get this pinned up against there and mortar that in. So just a little bit of prep and then mortar. Wednesday morning, just got another batch of mortar done. Got about a bucket and a half on the edges, working the remesh in and the lath, and then about 2.5 working on getting this to drain. It still doesn't drain all the way, but it's pretty close now. And this wall, it's drying out real fast, but that one's pretty much all tied in now. I'll probably just add one more coat to kind of smooth it out a bit, and making good progress on all the other parts as well. So that's probably all of the mortar I'll do up here for today, unless, there's a chance. No, it probably just needs one more batch, and I was thinking maybe I should just do it now, but no, I'll probably end up doing it tomorrow because all of these side pieces, they all require incremental. So I'll just water this throughout the day, and I think I'm going to focus on that tire area again now. So now that this concrete plug tire end cap thing is roughly cured, it's the following day. I'm going to put another tire on it and then start extending the tire wall out. And while most of the dirt from stepping up is coming from right where I'm digging, the second course will be coming from the dirt in the middle. So I got the first tire pounded, and got a LT275. That's like a wide sidewall of a super thick truck tire. So I gotta get some big rocks to fill in these holes in the side, and then get that one filled next. Next tire is prepped. It's another big one, and it's starting to get pretty tall to lift the dirt up into. So after this one, I'll have to focus on that one up there. It's Thursday morning, and I just prepped this area for what will hopefully be the final batch for the top. There will still be like a couple of these areas, like over here where the remesh is still exposed. We'll need like two to three coats to be finished, but I'm hoping to finish the top. So I prepped the space, cleared it, repositioned the things to get the remesh tight so I can make more progress on that. I should be able to get coverage on most everything. And then I just poured like 3.5 gallons of water all over that to see where I need to put this batch. And it started draining right here, so that is the lowest point, and that's pretty much what I'm aiming for. Actually, right here, look at that. It's actually preferring to go there. That's the lowest point. It just took a little while for it to get there. But regardless, as all the water works its way out, it'll show me what level is, and then so I'm about to mix a batch of mortar, and I'll start on the back and the edges, and I'll work my way towards me, and hopefully by the time I'm done with this batch, most of the edges will be complete, and it will all shed water. And I know that since I just poured like 3 gallons of water on, there's less than three. I know the volume of mortar that I need to make this run off even better, given that it's running off now after 3 gallons. So it should be all good if I do it right. By the way, here's how far I got with the tires yesterday. I got this one pounded. So the only one I didn't finish was this top one. I like started and then didn't finish on that tire. But you can kind of see how, as I'm digging out here, it is opening up this space a bit. But I think there's more dirt than I'm going to have room to put it in the tires right here. So I think I'm going to eventually have to do some more tires around over there for kind of like a foundation insulation and also buttressing kind of project. So maybe I'll get into that in the next week or something. But I'm going to keep working on this after I do this batch of mortar. It's Thursday afternoon, and I got another batch of mortar on up here. The walls are really well integrated. There's just a few pieces on the outside. Crap. Of course, I do the worst thing I can do, trip on this, and look what I did. I damaged all that because I was not focused on the video, and now, oh well, I'll have to redo that. Because it's wet mortar, and then that just like popping that out, then all of the wet mortar just pops it out because it doesn't have any strength yet. Oh well. Consequences of making a video. Anyways, so it pretty much all sheds water now. It probably would take less than a gallon on it, and I think what I'm going to end up doing is like a epoxy up here. So I've never done it before. I'm going to, I think, do it for the first time. So this might be like a finished coat, even though it's really thin in some places, and I'll put a gray epoxy on up here, and that won't be for probably another couple weeks, so I'll give this some time to cure and everything. And then that last bit of liquid should fill in any little tiny gaps that prevent it from shedding water fully. So I'll have to come up here and kind of like touch up that piece and touch up some of these remesh pieces on the side in future batches of mortar, but for the most part, this is basically all done. The whole dome is all insulated, and I could also clean up a little bit around the base of that chimney right there. But it's complete. It sheds water, the dome is insulated, and now what I need to do is excavate out the area where the fireplace is going to be, which is part of what I'm doing with the tires. So we're getting back to tire work for the rest of today. One more tire pounded, and now I have room for 2 more tires right here, and then stepping one more up over there. Another fat truck tire, and staggering the tires below, so it needs the big rocks on the sides to plug up the gaps, because the other tires are going like right there and then right there. So time to get more dirt in this one. One more tire is done, and I'm thinking I might make another like concrete end on right there, so I can get another tire right there after a break. End of the day, Thursday, and I got the concrete end thing on that tire, so that tomorrow I should be able to step up the next course another tire and keep working on that tire wall. I'm starting to hack into the top of the hill, and as I do so, it seems less impossible to move, taking it down a size. But that's all for the projects for this week, and just checking in with the animals. Animals are all the way. Benedict just ate like 6 apple cores. And that's it for this week. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.